The DNA leader says he knows when the general election will be called.
The general election will probably be before the 1st of May.
But the Prime Minister calls his claims nonsense. We'll explain. Meanwhile, the PLP leader urges the Prime Minister to ring the bell. Air traffic controllers work to rule, causing a backup at Lynden Pindling International Airport, and blind parents in desperate need of help.
We are endeavoring our best to raise the necessary funding.
I'm Nikia DeVoe, and this is NB12 Weekend. Thanks for spending your Saturday evening with us. Prime Minister Hubert Ingraham today quashing DNA leader Branville McCartney's claims that a by-election must take place because the North Andros and Barry Island seat has been vacant since March 1st due to the prolonged absence of outgoing MP Vincent Peat. Here's Juan McCartney with the details.
Could DNA leader Branville McCartney know when the next general election will be called? Well, he believes he does. In fact, he told a crowd of supporters in Grand Bahama last night that due to the situation with the North Andros seat, the election has to be called on or before May 1st.
Therefore, listen to me carefully, by virtue of Article 67 of the Constitution, a by-election will have to be called within 60 days from March 1st. Which is on or before the 1st of May. You know, it is our understanding that the Prime Minister wanted to extend the time for this election to August. But I think he is now constitutionally bound because of Pete's vacancy to call either a by-election, which he probably will not do, and thus, the general election will probably be before the 1st of May. Therefore, if the Prime Minister do not want to ring the bell, the Bahamas will ring the bell. They'll ring the constitutional bell.
That's McCartney's take. But today, Prime Minister Ingraham told our news team it's absolutely untrue. You see, if a member resigns from the House, the Speaker has to notify the Governor General. The Governor General then has 60 days to call an election. The Prime Minister said that even if a by-election is called, it won't take place if a general election is called during the same period. Ingraham also said if the House is dissolved, the PM has 90 days to call an election, and there's nothing anyone can do to interfere with that process. The Prime Minister says he intends to announce the election date on or before May 2nd. He said McCartney is clearly mistaken and or confused. Meantime, during the party street meeting, Bring Back the Magic in Grand Bahama last night, the DNA leader also said his party's committed to delivering real change, real solutions, and real innovation to Grand Bahamians. He outlined what a DNA government would do in Grand Bahama in its first 180 days in office to capitalize on the manufacturing and assembly potential on Grand Bahama.
Initiate dialogue with Hutchison Group to reduce landing fees that will allow more commercial airlines to and from the island. We'll make the agreements with the Port Authority current and relevant for today and work with the Grand Bahama Port Authority so that Grand Bahamians are the beneficiaries of the relationship. We will agitate for a state-owned dock and cruise port in the Hebron Town area of 8 Mile Rock to allow businesses easy access to trade and commerce. And listen, we have to lower energy commercial costs for Grand Bahama businesses.
And if the DNA becomes the next government of the Bahamas, McCartney says several policies will be implemented during its term, including creating a new government industry for Grand Bahama, promoting dialogue between the government, the Port Authority, and the Bahamian people, extending tax concessions presently enjoyed by licensees of the port to the larger community in Grand Bahama to support local entrepreneurship, and many other things.
We need to reopen West End Airport to facilitate tourism and commerce. We need to create a cultural center where residents can take advantage of the many entrepreneurial opportunities that will abound through tourist activities and spin-off products. What you say, Mavis? You agree with me? And Joe, what you say? You got to establish a movie and related business industry such as film, sound, editing, production, and distribution warehouses. We need to think out of the box, people.
While in Grand Bahama, McCartney promised that the DNA's Talonis Sands, Osmond Johnson, Roger Roll, Howard Grant Jr., and Ferline Bridgewater Thomas will bring much-needed economic relief to the financially battered island. Reporting for MB12 Weekend, I'm Juan McCartney.
Well, PLP supporters turned out in droves for the party's Marathon constituency office opening last night. PLP leader Perry Christie contended that if Prime Minister Ingram truly believed the F&M is polling ahead of the PLP, he would already have announced the date of the next general election, and he urged him to ring the bell. On Thursday, the Prime Minister dismissed the conclusion made by the Nassau Guardian based on a scientific poll that the two major parties are in a statistical dead heat. Ingram instead insisted that the F&M is ahead.
Hubert Ingram says he's ahead. He also reminds us every night that he is the one with the bell. Well, listen to me now. Listen to me. If Hubert Ingram really thought he was ahead, he would have rung the bell a long time ago.
Simply a mess. Messier.
Christie told the crowd of supporters at R.M. Bailey Park that if Ingram really thought he was ahead, he would not be carrying on the way he is. Christie called Ingram's move to abruptly suspend the House of Assembly until May 22nd on Wednesday nasty and cruel. The Prime Minister said the House will not meet again before the next election. That move denied MPs who will not run again a chance to say farewell from the floor of the House.
Look at the low-down, nasty, dirty thing he did to Mother Pratt and Ken Russell and all the retiring members of Parliament. He wouldn't even allow a few minutes for them to say thank you and goodbye. No class, no decency. How nasty and how cruel. But you know why he did it? He did it because he's scared. Red and scared.
Well, last night, Mr. Christie gave the St. Cecilia MP, Cynthia Mother Pratt, the opportunity to publicly address her constituents for the final time.
I want to personally thank the leader for allowing me to sit in his cabinet and to be a part of his government. I want to thank the Bahamian people as a whole who have supported me over the last 15 years. And to you, St. Cecilia, who's here tonight, I want to thank you for supporting me and watching my back when they tried to destroy me.
Christie told supporters that the F&M's days are numbered and the Prime Minister knows it. He also criticized the government for bringing in a foreign crime fighter. Former New York Police Chief William Bratton, now the chairman of Kroll, a New York-based risk consultancy, met with government and police officials earlier this week. Christie said Bratton gave the same advice the PLP has been telling the F&M government over the past 5 years. PLP candidate for the Marathon constituency Jerome Fitzgerald also addressed the large crowd last night. He revealed his plan for the area that he says will empower Marathon residents and build the community.
Create and enhance local crime watch programs and coordinate regular police patrols in our community. Develop after-school programs that not only focus on building math and English skills, but also on building strong moral character for our kids. We will work with vocational institutes to assist with job training and preparation and create a job placement bank to accommodate the thousands of educated, qualified Bahamians who are unable to find a job. Create a new business culture in Marathon where we stage seminars that guide new business owners and existing companies on strategies for success. And we will work together to identify, create, and maintain open spaces and parks in our constituency that rebrand our community spirit and togetherness.
Fitzgerald is running against F&M candidate Heather Hunt and DNA candidate Karen Davis. Well, in other news, air traffic controllers began work to rule today in protest of stalled negotiations with the government. President of the Air Traffic Controllers Union, Roscoe Perpall, told our news team that today's action did result in flight delays. Perpall says back in December, the union made some progress on a few minor issues, but since then, he says the government has, for the most part, ignored the union's outstanding issues, particularly its industrial agreement. Perpall says union members will continue this action until the government takes them seriously. He says the union will also attempt to meet with airline operators in a move to intensify agitation. When our news team spoke with Labor Minister Dion Fowkes on the matter today, he said that he was unaware of today's action. He said as far as he knows, the union has been in talks with Tourism Minister Vincent Vanderpool Wallace and that their issues were being dealt with. The minister says he will speak with the tourism minister sometime this weekend to see exactly what the status is on those issues. Officials from the Nassau Airport Development Company were not available for comment up to airtime.